Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between tall mountains, there lived a young man named Marcus. Marcus was not like the others in his village. While most people sought comfort, soft beds, warm meals, and easy work, Marcus often wondered if there was more to life than just seeking pleasure and avoiding hardship. One day, an old traveler passed through the village. His clothes were worn, his face was weathered, but his eyes were sharp and full of wisdom. The villagers avoided him, thinking he was just another beggar. But Marcus approached him. "Why do you travel with so little?" Marcus asked. The old man smiled and said, "Because the less I carry, the farther I go." This simple answer puzzled Marcus. He had always believed that having more food, more money, more comfort, was the key to happiness. But the traveler's words made him think. That night Marcus lay in his soft bed but could not sleep. The next morning he decided to try something new. Instead of eating his usual warm breakfast, he drank only water. Instead of wearing his warmest cloak, he went outside in just a thin shirt. The cold bit his skin, and his stomach growled, but for the first time he felt awake, alive. Days turned into weeks, and Marcus continued his experiment. He slept on the floor instead of his bed. He walked long distances without resting. He ate simple meals of bread and water. At first it was hard, very hard, but slowly something changed. He noticed that his body grew stronger. His mind became clearer. Small discomforts that once bothered him, a cold breeze, a missed meal, no longer troubled him. One evening, a storm hit the village. The river overflowed, and the roads turned to mud. The villagers panicked, but Marcus remained calm. He had trained himself to endure discomfort, so the storm did not frighten him. While others struggled, he helped carry supplies, guided the lost, and even shared his simple food with those who had none. The villagers looked at him with new respect. After the storm passed, the old traveler returned. Seeing Marcus, he nodded approvingly. "You have learned what many never do," he said. "Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the teacher." Marcus finally understood. By practicing voluntary discomfort, choosing to endure small hardships, he had made himself stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. The villagers, who had once mocked him, now gathered around to hear his wisdom. Marcus told them, "We run from pain, but pain is not always bad. When we face it willingly, we grow. A tree that never feels the wind grows weak roots. A man who never faces hardship grows a weak mind." Some listened, others did not. But Marcus no longer cared about their approval. He had discovered a truth greater than comfort, that suffering, when chosen, could be the path to strength. He continued his simple life, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. And in doing so, he found something rare, true freedom. The seasons changed. Years passed. The village prospered, but Marcus remained unchanged in his ways. When travelers asked why he lived so simply, he told them the story of the old man and the lesson of voluntary discomfort. Some laughed. Some thought. A few even followed his example. And so, the lesson spread, not as a command, but as a choice. Because Marcus knew that no one could force another to embrace hardship. It had to be a decision, made freely. In the end, Marcus grew old. His body was worn, but his spirit was unbroken. On his last day, as the sun set behind the mountains, he smiled. He had lived fully, not because life had been easy, but because he had made it hard, on purpose. The villagers buried him under a strong oak tree, its roots deep in the earth. And sometimes, when the wind blew just right, they could almost hear his voice, whispering the same lesson he had lived by. Do not fear discomfort, choose it. And in choosing it, become free.